ITRBoxing. You heard it here first. Pretty cool videos. And I heard they're also in HD. ITRBoxing.com.
This Hassim Rahman, two-time, really three-time heavyweight champ, but two-time heavyweight champ, making it all happen. Prince Ranch Resort, Prince Ranch Boxing. He's done a whole lot, not just for them, for my nephew, for boxing, period. It's one of the main reasons why I'm here today. It's Big Rock right here.
Hello. I don't know what's up with you. How you doing?
People a little bit about yourself and like kind of what you've done for the sport of boxing.
I've been around boxing for a long time, like 1980. My dad was a manager, Larry Holmes, George Foreman, different guys like that. So I had the opportunity to work with some of them great names, and I've just been in the sport ever since. It's a wonderful sport, and whatever I can bring to it to add on, I'm pretty much happy to do so.
So I'm gonna start off the rip with a curveball. Larry Holmes is my favorite fighter. Because Larry Holmes has the best jab ever in boxing, in my opinion.
Yes.
Give me something about Larry in the gym that people don't know.
Oh man, Larry was a really hard worker, great jab. He concentrated on that jab, and this mind asset, the way he worked, his timing. It's one thing about Larry Holmes, he really worked on his timing. That was the reason why his jab was so effective, and the right hand behind the jab.
Who's like one of the more memorable fighters you've ever worked with, where something stands out and you go, that was like that, no one could do it quite like him?
Johnny Tapia.
Why do you say that?
Johnny Tapia was a different type. What a hell of a fighter he was. A lot of guts. And it was just something different about Johnny that was just different from many other fighters. He could do things that fighters couldn't do, and he could get away with it.
So he was like the exception to the rule. You
yes, he was.
About that.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. And also one other fighter was Michael the Bounty Hunter, Sr. If you look at some of his tapes, what a magnificent fighter he was. He had a different style, unique style, and that made it work for him. He got away with it.
As a trainer, what's one of the big things you stress to a young fighter?
I think I've stressed not making it. Not making it to the top. I'm always having my fighters to work hard, stay clean, do the right thing. So I always want to see my kids do very well.
What's as a coach? What's like technically one thing that you feel makes you unique?
My experience on boxing. I've studied a lot of films, a lot of tapes. I've been around. My father started in the 40s. Johnny Bratton, Bob Montgomery, Ike Williams. So I kind of studied that. I've learned from the best, and I can just kind of take that to where I'm at now and just kind of mix it in. I've got not two-time, but three-time heavyweight champion of the world, Hassim Rahman, who brings a lot to the table.
A legend.
The legend, Hassim Rahman.
A literal legend.
The reason why I'm here today, I worked with Hassim for 17 years, still work for him. We've got a very good stable.
You gotta give a story about us.
Yeah, we will. We'll give a story later on.
Later on?
We'll give you a good story. Haas I've been with him 17 years. I train all of his fighters, except for Michael Hunter, who he trains, which is my nephew. But we decided that we had to bring Hassim up. Michael's coming up from cruiserweight to heavyweight. No other better person to have in your corner than Hassim Rahman, who knows a lot about the heavyweight division and punching. So when Michael moved up to heavyweight, we brought Hassim in the picture to bring Mike that extra edge as far as punching and bring generalship in there. So Rock has been doing a great job, not just for my nephew, but for boxing and also Prince Ranch Boxing.
And who else we got?
We've got Brandon Cook. We got to forget about the world champion DJ, DJ right there. Training hard. The IBF world champ right there.
105-pound champion.
105-pound champ. Oh, he comes from South Africa, one of the hardest workers here. He got here. He's been here for 6 months and already world champion. So it's just what you put in the sport. This kid works hard every single day.
How proud are you of him? Because he's in a weight class where like most people
maybe people would say, why would you stay in the sport of boxing? And then he's in here working super hard, world champion.
Oh, this kid comes from South Africa, he's a world champion. He puts 110% into this gym every time he trains. It doesn't matter who he spars with. He comes in, he spars with guys 105, 110, 135, 140. He was just boxing with my kid yesterday. He's a middleweight, 6-0. And this kid's got tremendous heart. He's a great fighter.
And I'm looking around. Anyone else that I need to know about?
Carlos De Leon Jr.
Okay.
His father was a cruiserweight champion. He's making his comeback. He's 16-4. He was in the contenders. He was runner-up. And we've got some more guys that's coming in. This is our early session.
Okay, and then now you got to talk about my man, Devin Haney Promotions.
Oh, Devin Haney Promotions. We're going to start off with the promotion. He's a young kid. Not a young kid anymore. He's a young man. He knows a lot about boxing, the ins and outs. He's a boxing encyclopedia. Devin Haney Promotions is giving kids and amateurs an opportunity to fight and showcase their skills. And in the future, you'll see what Devin Haney Promotions does for these young boxers here, especially in Nevada. A lot of fighters don't get an opportunity to fight and show their skills. Devin Haney is that promoter that's willing to let you show the skills.
And Devin, to me, is one of these three special fighters. Like, if you don't see it, you probably need glasses.
That's a Ray Robinson, Charlie Burley. I mean, it's a throwback. Yeah, and he's got the new school swag about him also.
But you think he's like a Ray Rob because you're like an OG. You would compare him to like a Ray, like one of these great boxers.
Oh yes. Oh, and he's so much more to learn. And where Devin is at today is just. It's just phenomenal. I mean, he's just at another level. All fighters were. It seems like Floyd was. He's just in the air by himself, you know.
He feels like an old man in a young man's body.
Yes. Devin's been around. He's taken care of his body. Main thing about Devin is he doesn't get hit. And when you don't get hit, you stay in the business longer than normal.
Give me the best boxing story you can think of off the top of your head.
Best boxing story
that you were involved with. You're in a locker room, you're in a training camp.
Maybe Oliver McCall going out with Lennox Lewis when he had his little breakdown crying. Before the fight, he did not want to go into the fight. And he took his gloves off, he took his hand wraps off, and he was headed out the dressing room. Don King came in and said, man, look, you can't pull out now. I'll give you $1 million, go in there. And Oliver said, give it up. Took that $1 million and went in with Lennox Lewis. So it's probably one of the craziest stories that I've seen in boxing.
How is that? And like, if you're just sitting there and you're like, what the heck is happening? Because like, you're probably sitting there.
Well, Oliver is a competitor. You know, he's always a competitor. Oliver is a great guy. He's never been knocked out. He knew he wasn't mentally, physically ready to go in their ring that night. And I believe that's really the reason why he cried and broke down, because he was unable to perform because he knew he wasn't Oliver McCall.
It's like going into a test and you didn't study.
Exactly, and he knew that, and that was a mistake that he made.